Hi guys, hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today it's Saturday, October the 4th. I have decided to do another video regarding the stock market. It's not so much about what I have invested, but I would like to signal a couple of things which may be useful to you. Doing the investment on the stock market became a passion for me for the last 3-4 years, and the results from this year were actually very good, and I'm very encouraged by that, and I'm sharing with all of you guys. I know that there are not too many people watching currently. Maybe each time when I'm posting a video, 6 people up to 10 people are watching, and probably usually from the people I know, my friends, and so on. But I keep doing it because I like it, and it's working for me. All this information eventually may be useful to you when you're going to have the opportunity to have enough money to invest into the stock market. Maybe what I have shown so far for you guys, it will help. So this is the intention. So today I want to talk very quickly, very briefly, where I am with my investment, and after that I want to show it to you a couple of things. A new channel which I have discovered. It's a Romanian channel about investing into the stock market, which I found very interesting and promising. And at the same time I want to show you the list of 100 companies with very good cash flow, which I'm currently using to do investment on day to day, week by week. And I think this is pretty much it. One more information which I found interesting, how you can park your cash in case you want to transfer from US dollars to Canadian dollars without paying commission to Questrade and so on. So this is another thing which I discovered recently, and I think it's useful for you to find out. So what we are looking at, it's actually my portfolio, 294, 194. So you see that it's actually growing, right? It's getting closer to 300,000, and the lowest I had, it's 189. So I went down from almost 300,000 in October 2023, and basically in the last couple of years I was able to recover $100,000. And more recently, into this year, I was able to make around 30,000 US dollars, around 40,000 Canadian, right? Because the stock market was going up, and the investment I'm doing, by buying and selling weekly, usually I'm able to make around $1,000 a week. So this was consistent from November up to now. So that's why, I'm doing pretty good. I'm actually happy with that investment. So you'll see this is what I have currently into my RRSP account. I just bought into Volkswagen. The minimum is probably around $10.50. The maximum is around $12. I'm expecting to sell around $12, probably to make $1,000. And I have the same investment into my TFSA. I have invested as well $5,000 in Keurig Dr. Pepper, which is at the minimum for this year. Probably it's a long investment. It will not gonna, I will not be able to gain too much into it, on a short term. But anyway, this is my DFSA account. So here from $45,000, I have in cash only 11,000 plus another 5,000, right? But on the RRSP, you'll see from 165, I'm losing only $18, and my cash is actually 154. And I'm trying as much as possible to keep the cash out of the market because I don't have confidence in the next years of Trump administration. So I'm expecting another crash to gonna happen like in April. I don't know when this will gonna happen, but I want to have this amount ready to invest in good companies when this will gonna happen, right? So that's pretty much on my account. What I want to signal to you guys, it's actually that channel, that gentleman. This is from Romania. It's a gentleman, Tiberiu, who actually worked into banking for some time, and he's talking about his investment and portfolio, on New York Stock Exchange. He had very good analysis week by week. He's sending you, if you're gonna look in here, he has a newsletter. You can put your email and you're gonna receive his newsletter. So far, what I noticed, it's actually in Romanian. Maybe if you ask, he's gonna send it to you in English as well. Very good analysis, and I was able to find companies I was not following until now, especially on artificial intelligence. Smaller cap company, but with a really big gain this year, right? And I would like to talk a little bit about those. So you can join this channel, or from time to time I will try to add into my channel information which I found useful on Foxland channel. Tiberiu is actually maintaining, and his team. If you want, you can, I'm not sure how it's going to work with Romanian English. Maybe you can ask, but you can pay a yearly fee or a monthly fee, which, it's a pretty average. I think for the whole year is maybe 300 Canadian dollars or something like that, right? And you can have access to a lot of information, different courses, for people who are trying to learn how to invest into the stock market. I will, start this, just to listen in Romanian for a minute or so to have an idea how this looks like.
Investești pe bursă, dar nu ești mulțumit de configurația portofoliului tău actual sau dacă vrei să începi să investești pe bursă, ai capitalul pregătit, îți faci un plan de acumulare și vrei să începi de la zero, să începi fresh și vrei să ajungi la $50,000, $100,000, ai obiective importante. Vezi ce creșteri masive au fost pe bursă, am tot prezentat pe canal, în infrastructură AI, în infrastructură energetică, în industrie, în fintech, în mai multe sectoare. Creșteri de 3x, de 4x, creșteri de 60%, de 80% în câteva luni. Asta nu se întâmplă mereu. Nu trebuie să te ancorezi în aceste creșteri. Nu o să fie întotdeauna. Dar acum suntem într-un ciclu bullish și suntem într-o etapă în care se amplifică acest ciclu. O să fie retrageri pe bursă, o să fie prăbușiri bursiere, o să fie tot felul de situații pe bursă. Odată ce începi, nu trebuie să te ancorezi în situația actuală. Dar tu concrete despre protocolul de analiză trimestrială, cum ar trebui să procedezi, cum construiești de la zero portofoliu de investiții dacă vrei să începi astăzi și o să stabilim și anumite pondere de rebalansare când vrea să crească, anumite poziții când tai, când companie. De ce piața iarăși a penalizat-o atât de rău după raportări și vedem că a fost
So guys, as you can see, Tiberiu is doing a very interesting analysis. He's able to follow our newsletter with very interesting points like this one from here, and it's about the New York Stock Exchange as well, different strategies about how much you should invest in. It depends on the amount of money you have invested into the market. At the same time, you'll see he's showing different companies, and you can see into his list what he has in his portfolio and how much those companies were actually going up from April to this moment. Some companies are going like 200, 300, 500%, right? And I think it's a very interesting channel. I started to follow it. I don't completely agree because a lot of those companies in reality, yes, it's true, they are going up a lot, but they don't have a lot of capital. Like there are smaller companies with fewer employees, like 300 employees and so, right? And not a very good cash flow. So those companies to me are a little bit risky. Definitely you can make a lot of money, especially in a time when it's booming, right, with artificial intelligence, but you have to be careful because those companies can go down pretty dramatically and can even go bankrupt when the opposite is actually happening. So I learned in my experience the last 4 years to stay with the very stable companies like Google and Thermo Fisher and Lockheed Martin and so on, because even if those companies are going down, like it happened in April, they will always recover. Dell, for example, and they will come back to the same amount of money. But those little companies, you never know, right? And if you lose, let's say, $40,000 in one of those companies, for a person, it's actually a lot. You can really have to work 2-3 years to recover this amount, right? So this is my take, but definitely very interesting companies, and it's a channel to follow. take in contact with Tiberio and his team, and I'm sure he's gonna be interested to follow up with you, maybe send those information in English to you, and maybe he'll be able to have those type of analysis in English, right? Because I see that he's already at the 31,000 subscribers, right? So his channel will gonna grow. Very interesting gentleman. I agree with a lot of things he's saying, but definitely investing in stock market is like fishing, right? Everybody has a different strategy, whatever works for them, right? Some people are more cautious, some people are actually a little bit on the riskier side, right? And definitely they can gain more and they can lose as well more than other people. But this is what I wanted to show, one of those aspects, that particular channel. Take a look for Foxland and subscribe and start listening to his presentation, especially if you understand Romanian, right? Let me go on another monitor. So let me see, this is the primary monitor. So you'll see here that I have a list of companies I'm actually looking at, and this list is actually more than 100 companies, right? 130 companies. But out of those companies, I'm actually trying to select only the one which have a very good cash. And you'll see this list is actually alphabetical, almost 100 companies. I'm following from week to week. I'm updating those numbers. So what you'll see is the minimum value of the share for this company for the year, the maximum for the year, right? This is the current price. I'm updating, let's say, every day or every Friday, depends if I have the time. And really, that's a formula which is actually calculating and is showing that company it's actually at 29% down from the maximum of this year, right? So it may be a good investment to invest in Airbnb, which has a very good cash and it's at 30% down, right? So looking like that, you'll see those companies which have like 20% down. AMD, and because I know those companies, I pretty much have an idea if I want to invest or not in them. For example, AMD, it's a good company, but it's not one of the first semiconductor companies. So whenever the market goes down, it's one of the first candidate to go a lot, maybe even 50% down, and it can recover like it is happening. It happened this year pretty slowly, like 3-4 months it takes to come back, right? So that's why I'm a little bit reluctant to invest in AMD, right? Maybe I'm buying when it's 30% down or more, and I'm selling after that, right? Other companies, this is an agricultural company, 37% down. Is not one of the company who moves up or down pretty quickly, right? So again, you keep an eye on it. ARM, it's they make like Nvidia chips, right? But it's from United Kingdom, 20% down. It was actually even more than that. The problem is those are imported into the United States, and it may not go up so much like the American company, right? For example, Boeing, it's a 20% down, but it was at 155 probably this year, I think, and it recovered to 267, and right now it's around 215. I will probably buy if it's lower than 200. You see, 20% down. Bungie, I was playing with it. It's around $83 right now, and it was 110, right? So it's one of the company which is not very too much. They don't have a lot of shares which are sold and bought every day, right? But definitely it's a company which last few weeks was at 87, and it will gonna go up to 100 for sure, right? So going down, this is CNI, which is Canadian Railway, if I am correct. I am not actually following too much this company, but I think it's a very good company on a long term, 30% down. CRM, that's a software company, right? And I'm not sure if they invested too much into artificial intelligence, right? But this is one of the companies which on a long term will recover, right? Whatever you see in negative, in reality, it went in, it went up more than it was the maximum for the year, right? So this is up 20%, right? So another company is First Solar. First Solar, it's again, depending on all those laws about investment into those companies which are new sources of energy, right? So again, I had money into it. It's very volatile, so you have to be careful with this company. Now you see that I added in here some companies from Foxland. From that channel I was actually reviewing with you a few minutes before, and I look at those companies, and they are in energy, electronics and whatnot, and like my first indicator, I want to see they have a very good cash, and at the same time they have a big number of employees, or not 100 employees or so, and good capital, right? So I never know about those companies. GEV, GLW, you can look for them. I actually investigated and I put a comment. It's a serious company, so from now on I will look what's happening with those companies as well. So you'll see in here Foxland. Halliburton Energy Company, it's 40% down for a while. It's not varying too much around those numbers. It stays from week to week, right? So I'm not investing too much into it. This is I think one of those companies where like Questrade, you are able to Robinhood, buy and sell stocks. I realized by looking at it, because I was not following this company, they have an immense cash, right? And they have a lot of people working for the company. So I think it's some company to watch, right? Intel, we are familiar with. The American government invested into it. KDP, it's curing Dr. Pepper. It's the minimum for this year, $25. I bought into it. Probably it will come back slowly, right? Other companies, Lockheed Martin, this is a good buy because it looks like Donald Trump wanted to invest from the government and buy some shares from this company, right? Marriott, that's a company my wife was invested into, and recently I added into my portfolio to follow. Mercedes, I put cash negative, a lot of investment because the cash is negative because they bought a lot of other companies, right? So this is not really negative on the negative side. Probably I will buy if it's lower than $58. Right now it's around 63 at 24% down. Merck, which is a medical company, the problem with medical company, just this week President Trump started to add tariff into this, right? So probably the American companies on the pharmaceutical start to grow, but for a while Merck was actually, I think, even at 40% down. Nike, I'm not considering too much, I'm not following too much, but it's 42% down. Nestle, which is this one, 20% down. ODFL, which is transportation, 38% down. Oracle, 16% down. It went up a lot this year. Oxy and SLB are actually, SLB somewhere in here, are actually oil companies, right? Very much depending on the politics, the price of gas and so on, oil and so on, right? So again, I'm not investing in those companies, but I'm keeping an eye on them. PVH is a good company, right? All those brands, Ralph Lauren and so on, which are actually creating clothes, right? And they are at 40% down. It's similar with TPR. I think it is, let me see if I have it in here, TPR, right? But right now it's 40% down, and definitely it has potential to grow. You can look at those companies. QSR, it's actually Tim Horton from Canada. This one, it's a pharmaceutical company which went down this year dramatically, almost 50%. This week started to recover. Rivian, they are building electrical vehicle. It went down recently this week. This is oil company, Team Software, Target, TM, which is Toyota, right? Timo, actually, I had invested in this company, and it's one of the company I completely trust into. And this week I sold one day, let's say on Tuesday, and next day it went up 10%. And I was not into the market. When I sold, I had, I think, $30,000 invested into it, so I will make $3,000 that day. and I lost it, right? And I was investing in this company for maybe several months. This is what's happening when you play day by day. Sometimes you lose, and you have to be happy with whatever you are able to gain by buying and selling constantly, right? Like in my case, around $1,000 a week. And yes, definitely it's not nice to see that you lost $3,000, but it is what it is. You know, I'm still making money. Let's look on the positive side. UNH started to go up. This is an insurance company which this year went like 50% down. Volkswagen, 33% down. I invested into it, the only company in which I have 20,000 invested. Now you see from Foxland I have WDC, which is I think Western Digital. They make how it's called, hard disk and stuff like that. There is another company I've seen from them, which is MU, and this company is actually building memories, right, for computers, and they are very much investing into building memories for data warehousing for NVIDIA and so on. And this company went up a lot this year, so it's one of the company with very good cash, which you can keep an eye on. So this is another example of a list of companies I'm actually maintaining. Maybe you can take a look to this list and try to follow the same company, try to maintain those numbers on your own and see when you think it's good to invest. It's a good buy because they are going down, they are going up again, right? The last piece of information I wanted to share with you guys, it's actually something which I found interesting. So let me go on the secondary monitor. So you'll see that I have researched with ChatGPT, and I was thinking that since I have my whole portfolio in US dollars, right, and the dollar going down, so you'll see that this week it's actually appreciated to 140, but it went down from 145 to 137, right? So I was thinking if the American dollar were gonna go down to 1 to 1, let's say, right, I'm gonna lose around $100,000, right, because of that. So what can I do to protect my money, right? So I want to convert at a moment in time US dollars into Canadian dollars. But if you do this on Questrade, you're gonna pay a commission of 2 to 3%, right? So talking with ChatGPT, I've realized that there are ways in which you can park your money, it's called, right? And this is one of those ETF where they're buying treasury bonds, right? And you'll see that the maximum is $100 and vary to another $100, 39, so a few cents, right? So I made a calculation, you buy and you sell for my whole amount, I'm losing $20, $30, $40, something like that, right? But when you do that, that company has as well in an account in US dollars and one in Canadian dollars. You can buy, you can transfer at the whatever rate it is, let's say 140, your money into Canadian dollars, buying shares into this company. And normally you should write an email to Questrade and say that you want to journal this amount of money, which means they will transfer exactly between American and Canadian. You're going to get exactly the same amount you have invested in American, you're going to get it in Canadian converted to 140 without them taking commission, right? And this is a normal activity which Questrade is actually doing. I sent them an email and they reply to me saying that yes, it is true, but you can do it online. You don't have to wait for them to do this. It will take a few days, probably less than a week, until those money are going to be converted, but you're going to get the whole amount you have in US dollars multiplied by exchange rate into this company, into this into the shares of this company into Canadian dollars. And after that you can sell it and you can get all this amount in Canadian dollars into your account without having to pay the commission, right? So this is a very interesting way which I didn't know about, right? And I'm still following the exchange rate. I think that probably it will not going to go lower than 130, right? From my analysis and what I could read about that, looks like even over the whole year, next year, and even maybe after that, it will not going to go lower than 130. But if this is happening, if it's continuing to go down below this amount, definitely I will have to consider what to do with my American dollar, right? Maybe convert it into Canadian, wait for a while, right? And when the time is right, go back into American and go back into the stock market. But maybe for a while, I can just sit with this amount into Canadian and wait for the economy to improve, right? And the dollar to American dollar to go up again. So this is something, some type of information which you find on your own, right? Because you don't know exactly how you should handle those situations, right? We don't have, the economical expertise to deal with all those things, right? And definitely one worries, you don't want to lose all the gain you made by, having your portfolio in US dollars, right? So that's another piece of information. You can take a look into it yourself, right? So there are different type of companies, which some of them are more secure than the other. Like 3 of them are actually in here. All of those are actually, you see, I call it parking cash. All of those are doing similar type of activity, right? And you'll see, especially this particular company, because they are relying on the treasury bond, right? It stays, the amount of the share almost the same, right? So it's keeping, you are not losing the money, you are actually investing into this, right? And you can read about it a little bit lower, and you see that it's an ETF, it's an exchange trading fund launched by BlackRock. The fund is managed by BlackRock Fund Advisor. It's invests in fixed income markets of the United States. The fund primarily invests in US dollar denominated treasuries, securities, with remaining maturity of less than or equal to 3 months. It seeks to track the performance, blah, blah, blah. And you can read all of it, right? So, yeah, I found this interesting. I wanted to share with you. So this is it for this week, guys. I have decided to have a single video a month, just to show how much I was able to make that month. We are on track, to make probably another 4,000 for the month of October. We'll see if I'm able to do consistently $1,000 every week. This week I was able to make $1,300, and I have somewhere in here. Let me see if I can share this one with you. I have so you see right now, this is what I was playing with this week. Government shutdown, I have to sell a few things. I was not losing too much. I sold, like I told you, Timo, make a little bit of money, and next day I was actually losing 3,000 because it went up 10% and I haven't invested. But overall, it's 1,300 American dollars for this week. For July, August, September, and October, I have almost 14,000 US, almost 20,000 Canadian. So this is all good. You see, this is what I made from November up to now US, and this is Canadian, right? So definitely I'm happy about it, doing all good. And until the end of October, when I will let you know, guys, what I was able to do this month. I bid you farewell, and I hope you enjoyed this video and found the information useful to you, or at least for the future. Good to have this information into your pocket, right? Okay, have a good one, guys. Enjoy your weekend with your family and friends. Goodbye for now.